of Singaporean households is that incomes will rise gradually. Looking back, and when they compare what they bought it for and what the unit is going for in the market at that point in time, then it looks like what we bought it for was comparatively affordable. So I think affordability in the Singaporean mind has an element of hindsight. There's a second reason why I think it is so, which is that while we do seek to make our HDB public housing affordable, we have to also bear in mind that it is for 80% of the population. And the income range is actually fairly wide. If your income level is not quite there, well, you're going to look at a launch and you're going to see some units that are within your housing budget, and you're going to see some units that are beyond your housing budget. And the units that are perhaps beyond the housing budget of such a buyer, I think they do tend to be the very eyeball grabbing type of flats. The very desirable ones, they tend to be the big flats, large flats in the mature estates. And I think this is what drives conversation. We have to ask ourselves, is the system broken? If the system is broken, we have to fix it. We have to repair it. But if it's something that is cyclical, and in this case, I think we are all very clear that we are in a crunch because of the inordinate delays caused by COVID-19, and also the impact that it has had on people who, because of urgent need, then they move to the resale market, and then that causes an increase in resale prices as well as rents. And if this is cyclical in nature, then I think we also know what to do, which is we have to increase or make sure that supply grows in tandem with demand. And that's exactly what we're doing, and we're starting to see the effects of that.
The CNA Leadership Summit 2023, presenting partner, Singlife, a better way to financial freedom. The summit will explore how trust matters in setting the foundation for creating a better future. As nations head towards economic recovery, a robust trust ecosystem is essential for effective governance, social cohesion, and lowering transaction costs in an ever-polarizing world. The CNA Leadership Summit 2023, coming in July, organised by MediaCorp. This July, witness the forces of nature at our doorstep and navigate the complexities of life. Experience the thrill of chasing storms to find out why Singapore is the lightning capital of the world in the documentary 1 Billion Jewels. Step into the murky underbelly of Asia and shine a light on the lives entangled in the award-winning investigative series Undercover Asia. Be inspired by the stories of ordinary Singaporeans living life to the fullest despite the odds in the brand new series Live Free. This July on CNA.
This was the 1980s, the era of the travel agent. But if you were savvy and in the know, you knew about Easy Saver. Accessed via a network, it was a system that asked a series of questions and allowed you to book your own travel. 100 years ago, travel for leisure was the privilege of the wealthy and elite. The Roaring Twenties really opened people's eyes to the romance and excitement of travel. Railroads in the U.S. were expanded in World War II, and travelers were encouraged to venture out of state. It was the first time middle-class families could afford one of the most crucial travel luxuries, a car. And regional airlines welcomed their first passengers. Through the decades, Planes got more comfortable, flight cabins bigger, and seats sometimes resemble living room furniture. By the 60s, airports had expanded globally, and with it, the rise of mass tourism. Travel agents were also in high demand, primarily used by middle and upper classes who had a lot of disposable income. Thomas Cook was often heralded as the first to establish the package tour holiday, and in the post-World War II years when travel boomed, others like Sky Tours, Horizon Holidays, and Clarksons popped up. They did the things that travelers couldn't or wouldn't know to do at the time, like securing flights, accommodations, transport, and entertainment.
Commercial travel or leisure travel had only really started in the late 60s. And back then it was very much package tourism. So it was Europeans going on holiday to the south of Spain. You know, you might buy a flight, get a hotel, sit on a beach, go back home. Certainly that was the European model. There was no sense of going somewhere very foreign, connecting with a community.
While the 60s and 70s saw friendlier skies become mainstream, jet setting only became commonplace by the 80s as the long-haul mode of transportation. Still, in this pre-internet Neanderthal day of information underload, how did holidaymakers plan trips without the services of the high street travel agent?
Basically, it's by word of mouth, asking people how to go to those places.
So I used to go to the library in the travel guidebook section. You had to write down and read everything because you had to know like which station would take you to another station. Like you couldn't just look it up on your phone or the internet.
By the early noughties, online travel agencies like Expedia and Booking.com made securing a local pad as easy as a few clicks on a website. And Airbnb subsequently allowed travelers to stay in bona fide local homes, windmills, wagons, caravans, tree houses, and even castles. But how did the hardcore travelers hack it before all that?
Come on, no, reservations didn't exist. You just turned up and found something. And information, what time does the flight go? Where do I get a visa? Where do I stay? All that stuff, you just pick up your phone and you look at it and you know instantly. Well, none of that was available. I mean, I made 1 or 2 overseas phone calls at that time and it was hopeless. If you wanted to contact someone, you wrote them a letter and then, you waited a month for the answer.
There has also been a fundamental shift in the way people traveled. There was a time in the 90s when the focus was largely on seeing those big bucket list sites, like the Eiffel Tower in Paris or Rome's Trevi Fountains, rather than a desire to really get under the skin of a destination. So what was backpacking like in a world before Google Maps and smartphones?
Long time ago, when I traveled without the internet, yes, I bring map.
It was so stressful opening up the map in a city because it told everyone that you were a tourist.
So, missing it already?
I still prefer the map. I can feel that I'm a really traveler and of course to lessen my gadget time because my gadgets are only for taking photos or like taking some videos.
You're on the bus somewhere from A to B. You're out in the middle of nowhere. There's no internet coverage. When I get to B, where am I going to stay? What's the history of the place? What do I need to see? The guidebook. The guidebook still works. When life gets back to what it should have been, I will continue to use them. I'm still alive.
Still traveling.
Still traveling, yeah.
This is Singapore Tonight.
Good evening, I'm Dawn Tan. Tonight's top stories: kickstarting the future of the largest commercial precinct outside the city centre. A massive land parcel is launched for sale within the Jurong Lake district. The new business hub is expected to attract more tech and innovation investments into the area and redefine the future of living and working spaces. Getting ready to help Singaporeans breathe easy. Mask suppliers ramping up orders as businesses prepare for higher demand for masks and air purifiers with the upcoming haze season. The first ever Olympic Esports Week officially kicks off here in Singapore with more than 100 esports athletes competing across 10 sports. And making room for art, more than 6,500 square meters of mall space carved out for community arts programs since 2013 in efforts to bring the arts even closer to the masses.
And locally, so also tonight, a desperate all-out search for a submersible that disappeared in the depths of the North Atlantic, despite fears that its oxygen supply could have expired. Kelantan, the first of 6 Malaysian states to dissolve its assembly, as all 6 head into regional elections due in July or August. The polls will take the measure of the new unity government under Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim. And in your Asia business update, garment exporters in Asia feeling the pinch as exports plunge on slumping demand from the United States. Plus, creating a flexible workplace that supports parents, Indrani Raja lays the case to business leaders for a better work-life balance.
Around 1,700 new homes, as well as office and recreation spaces, will come up at a new site that's just been put up for sale in the Jurong Lake district. The 6.5 hectare site comprises 3 plots of land, but a master developer approach will be taken with the site, which means that a single developer will plan the entire project. It's part of a long-term plan to transform the Jurong Lake district into Singapore's largest business district outside the city centre. Heidi Ng with this report.
Apart from homes, the site can yield